In this video, we'll be taking a look at how to use OBS broadcasting software with Red5 Pro for live streaming. So the very first thing to do is to launch a browser, go to the OBS project website and download the latest OBS Studio for your operating system. So I'm right now on Windows, so I have downloaded the Windows zip file. Once you have downloaded the file, navigate to the location. Depending on whether you downloaded an installer or archive, you'll have your icon either the desktop or wherever the archive is located. So in my case, it's archive, so I go into the extracted folder, and here is my OBS Studio executable. Once you have started OBS Studio, let's pull up the Red5 Pro settings page. This is Red5 Pro third-party publisher settings, and here we have settings for OBS, Flash Media Live Encoder, Wirecast, etc. So I'm going to take a look at OBS settings. So the first step is to select your devices, the input devices that will be used for streaming. So let's add a video capture device. I'll be selecting my default webcam with the default settings. In general, you can make a modification to resolution if you want, but in general it's best to leave it to the default settings. Click OK. Now let's add a audio input capture. Select the device from where the microphone input will be received. Click OK. So now we have added audio and video capture devices. Now let's create a new OBS profile and configure the streaming settings. To create a profile, go to Profile, click on New. Let's call it Red5 Pro. Streaming. So the next step is to configure our OBS settings as per the setting instructions given in the Red5 Pro documentation page. So in your OBS software, go to File and click on Settings. This will bring up the settings window. Leave the general settings as it is. Move to Stream. For service, select Custom. For server, we'll be providing the RTMP URL that will be streaming to. Since I'm running the server on my local host, I'll be publishing to localhost, so that is my host name. And then we have :1935, that is the default port for RTMP. And finally, we have to specify the application name, that is, in our case, it is live. The stream key parameter is nothing but the stream name, so I'm going to call it my OBS stream. Now move on to the output settings, and let's configure this to match the settings specified in the Red5 Pro documentation page. Once we are done with these settings, move on to audio settings. The default audio settings are good enough for Red5 Pro streaming, so you do not need to make any changes over here. Now let's click on video settings. Change the resolution to match the output resolution we specified earlier. FPS stays at 30. So now these are the settings that we had to configure. Now click on apply and click on OK. Now from within your OBS main screen, click on start streaming. Once the publish is successful, the button changes to stop streaming and you can see some statistics down here. Now go back to your Red5 Pro server page and go to the subscribe link, and here you should be able to see your stream name listed. Here you can click on either of these two URLs to test the subscription on this page. A few takeaways from this video: always refer to the Red5 Pro official documentation on RTMP publisher settings before you configure your encoder for publishing. We keep these pages updated to match with the latest server version and to deliver best performance. So always check back before you go ahead and start publishing. And secondly, always make sure that your stream bitrate is well within your outgoing bandwidth to avoid frame drops and quality issues. Apart from this, if you have more queries regarding configurations, encoder settings, fine tuning, then get in touch with us through Slack or email support.